I want to thank you all for being here this morning, and I hope that this is a very special time for all of you. I know it is for us who have been your hospice staff and caregivers and in many cases friends. So thank you for that. But I would ask one favor before we start. If you have one of these, would you put it on stun? Okay? So in other words, don't let it ring. You would not believe the ringtones that some people have. It's unbelievable. Absolutely. Well, we'll get started.
As we lift up our eyes and look at the heavens and the stars above, we all know you call us one by our name. We know because of your power and strength to overcome death, not one of them missing or in pain anymore. May your peace be felt by all who are here and all those who could not attend as we honor our loved ones. Lift our hearts and spirits as we remember them every day from now on. Amen.
I'm going to read a poem entitled All Is Well by Henry Scott Holland, who lived from 1847 to 1918. All is well. Death is nothing at all. It does not count. I have only slipped away into the next room. Nothing has happened. Everything remains exactly as it was. I am I, and you are you. And the old life that we live so fondly together is untouched, unchanged. Whatever we were to each other, that we are still. Call me by the old familiar name. Speak of me in the easy way in which you always used. Put no difference into your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes that we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me, pray for me. Let my name be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without an effort, without the ghost of a shadow upon it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is absolute and unbroken continuity. What is this death but a negligible accident? Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I am but waiting for you, for an interval, somewhere very near, just round the corner. All is well.
Song is one of those things that tends to encourage us and move us beyond our place of sorrow, and sometimes maybe amplifies it, but the thought of all being well is something that is very hard for us to see sometimes, especially as we go through grief. I hope that this blesses you. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well, it is well with my soul. 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 It is well. It is well with my soul.
Good morning. So for our memories, I will read for those who mourn. Let us prepare our hearts to enter now this space of grieving. O Spirit, who moves in the midst of our sorrows, fill us with the right compassion that we would be able to comfort with your divine tenderness the challenges that we have before us in the simple act of memorial. Teach us how to mourn with those who mourn. Help us to encourage one another and to hold up under this great burden. Help us to listen to you and to remind one another that there is hope, even still, as we share this sorrow. May your good work move in among us. May the wounds of our hearts and tears in our eyes, the brokenness that we feel, be soothed as we remember, as we focus on those that we have loved and still love. May this be a special blessing to all of us. May you be in the very midst of all we do, in this place, in grace, in love, in comfort. Amen.
Well, I'm the chaplain for the hospice, and some of you know me, some of you met me in the process of the decline and the homegoing, if you will, of your loved one. And I want you to know that on behalf of all of our hospice staff, and there's some of them that are here right now, that we count it a great privilege, an honor, a sacred act, in fact, to be able to care for your loved ones and others. It is a very, as you can imagine and have seen and have felt, a very hard job, and one that is all-encompassing in many, many ways. And so I want to let you know that we count it a privilege to be here. All of our volunteers that are here, the nurses that are here, our directors that are here, everybody that is here wants you to know that. We thank you for allowing us the privilege to be able to care for your family member. Thank you. I also want to share a bit of encouragement, because I'll be honest with you, dying is not a fun thing. And it's one that causes us great consternation as we see our loved one passing on. When we see that which has been a focus of our love and our care and our concern, and especially in those last moments when you cared for them profoundly in more ways than just your heart, but also with your hands and your time and your energy. We often wonder as we look at all of those things, gosh, man, did I do good enough a job? Did I care enough? And those are natural questions that happen for all of us who are caregivers, because we desire to express the love that we have and the concern and the care that we have in a way that is meaningful. One of the things that, as a pastor, not just a chaplain, but I am one of the pastors at this church, and I know that it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, whether you're very religious, if you're not religious at all, if you have some sort of belief or have no beliefs, are spiritual or not spiritual, it really doesn't matter. When we lose someone we love, there is a hole in our hearts. And I know that. We all know that. The reason why we gather together so often and are encouraged by friends is because of our community of humanity. We all grieve at loss. We truly do. And so I want to just lend a moment of encouragement to you. On the very front of our bulletin, it has a verse from the Bible, from Psalm 100. It's actually Psalm 147, not Psalm 47, so if you want to fix that. And it says, "He heals the brokenhearted and bandages their wounds. He counts the stars and calls them by name." Now here's what I know. Here's what I know. When someone we love dies, it hurts. Isn't that true? Would you all agree with that? It hurts a lot. And being brokenhearted is not even encapsulate all of the pain that goes along with our loss. And so we have needs for our brokenheartedness to be transformed. Not to forget our loved one, but rather to help us walk through this time of grief and to get there. We need someone outside of ourselves to help us get through that. Now, for those who are religious, those who are Christians, or whatever background you have, God may provide that for you. For those who are not necessarily religious, your friends and family, and whatever it may be that which comes alongside of you and encourages you. Dawn, it might even be your dog that comes alongside of you and blesses you. It is those kinds of connections that will help us get through. So where it says there, he heals the brokenhearted, you understand what I'm saying. It also says in that brief little verse that he bandages their wounds. I don't know about you, but when you lose somebody, there are things that are undone, things that are not completed, things that you cannot get over because there's no longer opportunity for that to take place. And if you are like normal people, you might even talk to your loved one and tell them, "Why did you leave me right then? Why did you leave me? We didn't finish with this, and this." And those wounds are real. Again, we can count on those to come alongside of us and to help us walk through that time of woundedness as they might be able to apply those bandages in our life. That could be a really good friend. That could be your pastor. Even somebody like me, as crazy as I am sometimes, whatever it could be, you may find solace in a book. You may find solace for those wounds in coming across a diary you didn't know about and read things that you never knew that were wonderful, and you were glad for that. So we have that need for the healing of our brokenness, for the salve that friendship and God and those kinds of opportunities give us to heal our wounds. But one of the things I think is so important for us to grab a hold of is that we, as human beings, no matter who we were, have significance. And there is an old saying that says that we are as alive as our name is spoken. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Our loved ones do not die if we can conjure their memory. They do not die if we can call their name. They do not die if we can remember connection with them as we laugh about funny things and maybe cry about things that hurt us and yet can be resolved through those that come alongside. I like this verse that's in the Bible because it says he counts the stars. I think that's interesting because he gives significance. If you look up into the sky on a good southern Arizona evening, and it's pretty awesome where we live because there's no street lights. I don't know if you've noticed. And you look up there and you go, to know all those are up there. and that they're even more that we can't even see, and they have significance, just as our loved one has significance because they exist, and they continue to exist in our memory. The last thing that it says there, he calls them by name. And again, not only do they have significance, because that is one of the challenges of life. We may know that people in our realm here in Green Valley, we know that they have significance, but we may not know their name. But when we know their name, there is a closer connection. For those who are religious in nature, those who are Christians or Catholic or whatever you want to call it, they know that God knows who they are. They know the depth of them. For those who are not religious, they're the ones who know, my friends know who my loved one was, as we laugh about what they did and the fun times we had together, and maybe even the embarrassment of life. Those things never happen, I know. But can you imagine all of that? All of that gives significance and connection, intimate connection with that one. So as I share these things, I want you to know your loved one has significance and always had significance. They may not have acted as good as you would have hoped them to, and I know that that's a reality. But their significance is found in the remembrance of who they were, and their name is a picture of that, the intimacy of that relationship. I hope that you will have your brokenheartedness taken care of. I hope that you will have your wounds healed. I hope that you will see the significance of your loved one and even call their name as you remember who they were and the life that they lived with you, and the encouragement that you might gather by that remembrance. Now, I want you to know, to help us do that, we are going to read the names of those who have passed away on our service at Gentiva Hospice over this last 6 months. And I want you to know that every last one of them has significance. When we come to the name of your loved one, would you do us a favor, please, and come forward and accept one of these stars that are down in the front as a reminder of their significance, not only to you, but also to us, because they meant very much to us as we cared for them. Okay? I'm going to start right now. And I know this one's loved one is probably not here, but Hartwig Holmberg. Hart Holmberg. Also Maria Landavaso. Eugene Velasquez. Petra Molina. Albert Velasquez. Emigdio Valle. Yolanda Velázquez. Ruben Escorza Carreón. Félix Montes. Armando Uzárraga. Leonel Villalpando. Carmen de Olais. David Verdugo. Leslie Stevens.
Christine Reeves. Dorothy Shropshire. Matthew Konopka. Margaret Smith. Hubert Tovera. Carol Toss, Jeanette Thing, Donald Tomasek, David Tompkins, Nicoletta Valdez, Carmen Valencia, Jesus Valenzuela, Anna McKenna, Diane Walker, Barbara West. Sorry. Is this better? Okay. I'm so sorry about that. Paulette Jocelyn. Clyde Tardy. Martha Lopez. Susan Warburton. Angela Mendoza. Victoria Marr. Larry Martin. Donald Molitor. Roberta Meckler. Janice Ness. Elaine Cross. Carolyn Alberta. Michael Payne Sr. Lillian Romero. Christine Reeves. Cheryl Reynolds. Phyllis Moore. Phyllis Lamb. And Donna Rodriguez.
Carol Banks, Margot Beeland, Edna Weicker, Stanley Brotman, Jean Notstad, Anna Carter, Baylin Cisneros, Michael Clemens, Linda Epstein, Joe Escalada, Susan Ferguson, Maria Gonzalez, Ruby Alexander, Virginia Anderson, Judith Andrews, Ronald Tetro, Shirley Kollerick, Nancy and Stephen Brooks, Adeline Brosovich, Eloise Fetzer, Mary Marquez, Yervand Mathevosian, Cassie Cromwell, Michael Cross, Susan Couple, Margarita Contreras, Myra Krishtek.
William Medley, Jesus Mendeville, Ronald Mills, Mary Meyer, Cayo de Mendoza, David Rambo, Janet Rath, Paul Rausch, Lillian Romero, Dixie Root, Albert Rudolph, Martha Garcia, Angela Mendoza, Virginia Goodrich, Sandra Mabonte, Frederick Handy, Mary Hostetler, William Howells Sr., Donald Larson, Larry Jones, Shirley Kolerick, Beverly Crumwhitey, Kay Yanis, Mary Brown.
Wendell Flata, Richard Ford, Alan Thrall, Adelmo Garcia, Emily Crutzi, William Haney, Virginia Downs, Lois Harris, James Hayden, Neva Jorgensen, Gerald Gray, B.C. Pendergrass Carlan, Linda Ketterman, William Kincaid.
Jean Bryant, Daisy May Carey, Robert Garn, Ralph Graydon, Larry Leiter, Richard Postanak, Raymond Hathaway, Richard Caruth, Hubert Prettyman, John O'Connor, Paul Nelsky, Rodney Markham, William Fashaw, Henry McNitch, David Erickson. It is well with my soul. It might not be right now, but all we can do is ask that you go in peace. Jesus spoke to the storms of chaos in people's heart, and he showed his great love, and he wanted them to go away with peace and tranquility, peace as such as they never known before. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds. Our God is a God of peace. For those of you who don't believe, that's okay. We just pray that his peace leaves you today. When you go to home and you remember your loved ones at home, that you will have that peace. And someday, that it might be well with your soul. It's a long process. It's a process that we have in our hearts for the rest of our lives. Some days, something will happen and it will remind us of our loved ones. May that give us peace. You might run across something that reminds us of our loved ones. May that remind you of peace. So we ask you today, and we invite you to have food with us in the fellowship hall, and you take this remembrance of celebration that you go in peace. Amen.
So we all want to invite you to come and join us as we just chat together. And thank you for all being here, and we hope that you've been blessed. We're going to be in the fellowship hall, which is out that door, to the end and to the left, okay? Thank you all for being here.